that you want Dylan to look at and address, whether it's with 3D QB guys or anybody else or on his own?
It's just like any guys that are newcomers, just learning our system and being a master of the little things. It starts with knowing the formation, understanding protections, and then just time on task. I mean, the more we do it, the more we rep it, the better these guys get. So I really like where we're at. We're nowhere where we need to be just yet, but we're definitely on schedule.
How did you feel the quarterbacks performed in general in the two scrimmages?
I thought they played well. Again, there's good and bad with every scrimmage. I always try to put it in perspective and know that it is spring. Guys are learning. And the biggest thing we want to see is not making the same mistake twice. And I think that's really shown up in terms of the growth process. They're really starting to click and understand, what we're trying to do offensively. It's different verbiage for newcomers, and I know what he can do. I know what Dante's capable of. Austin knows that has had a terrific spring. So we got really good depth in that room, competition, and then great camaraderie that I think is really shows on the field.
Where's the offense collectively gotten better 1 through 12 practice?
There's a lot of different things. I think our ability to run the ball without RPOs. We're going into a league that is notorious for physical style of football, and we believe we have that going into this conference. And we got to be able to run the ball in the fourth quarter to win. So I think that's shown up in terms of just our run plan, our run game, being able to call a hard ball run without maybe an RPO and be able to get, guys in certain spots to block extra support players or gain hats to the box in different ways. But, we've seen a lot of growth throwing the ball down the football field with our receivers. We're really deep at that position. I think us being able to utilize our tight end even more this year with Ferg, with Pat, with Kenyon, to me, that's a big area for me going into this next season, using those guys more in the pass game.
How do you think that the depth that this receiver room has is going to impact for you guys in the season?
It's huge. I mean, whenever you can roll 6-7 deep at wideout, you got a really good room. So, we still want to keep our play count up. And, early in the year, especially with weather and the heat, you want to be able to roll a lot of guys in there. And, we got a lot of good players. So it's about getting those kids the ball and getting their confidence up early.
What have you liked that you've seen from Evan Stewart so far in the spring?
I love his ability to compete. I love his speed, his coachability. He's been a joy to be around, and he's another guy that's improving every single day and learning our system, and I think the sky's the limit for him.
Has any of the freshman receivers stepped up and kind of separated themselves so far in these initial practices? Yeah,
I think they've all done a good job. Ryan Pelham's a guy that's smart, tough, dependable, has been able to really pick up our offense quickly. Love what Jeremiah McClellan's does, his physicality, his catchability. Dylan Gresham can really take the top off, and when he gets the ball in hand, he's really tough to tackle. Jack Rushers does a really nice job over the middle with slot. So even guys like Roger Saliapaga, he's a young tight end, but has shown the ability to be physical and can really run and catch as well. So we're blessed right now. We got a lot of good players on our roster. And now it's just us. It's about us coaching them up and getting them right and setting them free on Saturdays.
Do you have a plan set yet for how you're going to split reps on Saturday with the quarterbacks?
No, we haven't necessarily mapped that out quite yet, but it'll be somewhat even. You want to give everybody an opportunity and see what they can do on that setting. We get evaluations on them every single day, and we've had 2 scrimmages already, but definitely want to give them the limelight, with the fans, with the real clock, real officials out there. So we'll get it set and try to make it, as even as we can, but it's never perfect.
A lot of the attention is on Dante and Dylan at quarterback, and understandably so, but what have you seen from Luke Moga and his development as he kind of gets his first taste of college ball here?
Yeah, Luke is a kid that he just hasn't played a ton of football. He's only played a quarterback for a few years, but extremely coachable, very smart, and wants to be great, and has been doing everything in his power to achieve that. So quarterback's tough. I told Luke to ask Austin Novosad what his first spring was like here. The amount of defense that you see, the speed of the game. And if you see where Austin is now compared to this time last year, the guy has total command of our offense and is playing really well. So Luke's going to get there. He's not there yet, but he's on his way. And again, if we can just get him to master the offense, the little things, I think his athletic ability and his talents will take over.
You spoke a bit earlier this spring about how it's going to be fun for you to try to get all of your weapons the ball this upcoming year. Can you just speak to how valuable it is to be able to spread the ball around and just kind of break defenses down a bunch of different ways?
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's going to be stressful, though, too. I mean, there's a lot of players on our team. So, no, it's a great, wonderful problem to have. But it comes back to game planning. And when you're in that setting, personnelling specific plays for specific kids, I think is huge. So we'll see when we get there. Right now, it's more base offense. Kids are just learning the concepts. And, the ball's not necessarily going exactly to a specific person right now because we have split teams and just trying to master the little things. But once we get really in the thick of things in the season, it's way more personnel based and getting specific guys in the game that can go make plays on certain plays. That makes sense.
You've been here now. You're going into your second year. What do you like about the University of Oregon and, for that matter, the Eugene area in general?
The people. I mean, I think it all boils down to that. Fantastic people that have been welcoming and loving since the minute I stepped foot on this campus. I think the leadership at this university is top notch, top down. I mean, there's a direct vision and alignment and it doesn't veer. And, I feel that. I've been at other universities and there's no place like Oregon. I've never seen it done like this. And again, it goes back to the people, the way they treat you. It's very blue collar, old school mentality, but we do it different and we're growth mindset oriented and just great people.
The last 2 years you've relied on 4 receivers maybe. Do you think this year could be a year where you said 6 or 7? Is it possible we get into the season and the rotation does expand like that?
I think so. I really do. And I mean, we're deep at tight end as well. And our running backs catch the ball in the backfield. So again, it's a little too early to tell, but when you have this much talent, you don't want to watch them sit on the sideline. If you can rotate kids in, that's a good thing. The key is rhythm and not disrupting rhythm of a game. But, we only played 4 or so last year because we didn't feel like necessarily at that time that maybe more guys could go in the game and produce at that clip. But some of those guys that we were like, well, can they? Now they're a year older. A guy like Kyler Casper is killing it. He's killing it. Time on task. He has just been very coachable. Plays fast, plays the right way, doesn't complain, goes out there and works. And he's a kid that I know he's going to talk to you guys here in a second. I'm just thrilled with his development and where he's at.
As a play caller, how do you balance kind of, wanting to have fun in the spring game and do things that might excite the fan base, but still not showing too much because you don't want to give up?
Yeah, we'll be real simple. You guys have seen us play. We like to shift, move, and motion. We throw the ball down the field in the flat. We do a lot on offense, have a lot of schemes. I want the kids to play fast and free, not have to overthink. I'm not trying to out-scheme Tosh. He's not trying to out-scheme me. Can our kids go out and just execute a play, in that environment? We know the older veterans will be able to, but those young kids, when you go out, if you do too much, I mean, you can just fry their brain a little bit, right? So we want to keep it simple, but we do want to have some fun, throw the ball on the field, maybe have a trick or two to get everybody excited and think I'm some genius play caller with a reverse or something, but we just want to have fun and cut it loose.
Talked earlier in the spring about developing a little bit of chemistry with the twos in terms of the offensive line and having some answers for the long-term aspect of that. What have you seen from that group, and how has Iuli's injury kind of impacted the ability to evaluate that unit as a whole?
I think they've done really well, and the way that we mix our groups up, you have older guys with younger guys, so we believe is how you can develop. It's not that you're out there with 5 newcomers and the calls might not be getting in across the board. So now you have a Lipe next to a Josh Connerly. So when they talk about a deuce block, like Josh can help a kid out like that. So I'm excited about their development. And one of those young guys are going to have to play for us this year. I think that's pretty much apparent based on such a violent position and tough. And, we want to be at least 7 deep. 7, 8 deep. Last year we were able to play some people in spots. I had a young guy like Poncho last year playing, and Charlie Pickett's probably a guy that might have to rely on some this year. Lipe, Janoris, those young guys it's just every year it's going to happen. Every year. So you want to make sure you're deep in that position, and they've done a good job.